Hello, I'm Bob Ackerman, Editor-in-Chief of Signal Magazine, welcoming you to our Signal Executive video, Outcome-Based Defense Contracting. Government and industry are hard at work striving to improve the acquisition process, as both sides experiment with new approaches that will allow industry to deliver highly capable solutions while government realizes top value for taxpayers' money. Yet there is no one-size-fits-all solution for improving defense acquisition. One approach that holds promise would shift the onus onto the contractor. Outcome-based contracts would include incentives for the commercial provider to give the government the solution it needs for a particular procurement. With this approach, the contractor would hold most of the cards and it would bear the responsibility for a program's success. Discussing how this approach could be applied to defense contracting is today's guest, Chuck Swoboda, Lead Transformation Specialist for Red Hat Public Sector. Focusing on understanding and resolving complex business and technical problems, Chuck has helped organizations select and implement a host of enterprise solutions over his career. Chuck, welcome.
Thank you.
So how does this outcome-based contracting approach work?
Usually they're smaller, more iterative type contracts where the measurement for success is less about vanity metrics such as components built or source lines of code written, and more on productive outcomes, which is capabilities delivered to the warfighter. And doing so enables a much more agile way of building capability that moves at a better speed and is of much higher quality, which includes something that the warfighter actually wants and can use.
Is it in use? If so, where?
It's in pockets. I'll give you an example. If you've heard of Defense Innovation Unit, formerly experimental, out in Silicon Valley. Actually, the head over there is now running Kessel Run, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. So they're providing much smaller contracts, called through OTA or other transactional authority, to get non-traditional vendors as well as some traditional vendors to apply for work. And when they apply for work, their measurement is based off of, again, those productive outcomes. And you see it completely different than a regular type of RFP that hits the street. A traditional RFP that I was, basically run through the gauntlet with during my few years at Booz Allen Hamilton, you'd measure your proposal based off the weight, the heft. Oh, this feels like a, $100 million proposal, or response rather. And what they have done, and as a lot of these other agencies are doing, is limiting you to like 10 pages, and then coming in and doing orals to see, hey, if we put these guys on the spot, can they actually talk about how well they can help us build better software and how agile they are, or come doing hackathons or demos and things like that, right? So there's a lot of these contracts being put on the street right now in little pockets, and it's really neat. From small software as well as large weapon systems like the F-22 Raptor. If you heard Mike Haywood speak at Red Hat Summit a little bit ago, or Red Hat Summit 2019, the contract is incentivizing Lockheed Martin to deliver capability to the F-22 Raptor at a much faster pace, at a much higher quality, with incentive milestones on the way. And what this happened is from partnering together, us and Red Hat, Lockheed and Red Hat, we're getting a software-defined radio capability onto the aircraft in 1 year instead of 4, which is pretty cool. And a lot of that, again, has to do with because both teams were incentivized the right way from the government to do it quickly.
Incentivized the right way? Is the wrong way the traditional way, and the right way the more agile way, or is it more than that?
I think it's a bit more than that, and I think you kind of caught me up here because I hate speaking in absolutes, right? You do what's right, you do what works, right? It may be appropriate to contract in a more traditional long-term way and measure, via EVM or something for certain programs, none of which I don't think I want to be involved in, but really, doing it the right way for most of these use cases, right? Again, are moving in smaller chunks, moving in such a way that when you need to go through an option pivot, you can, and it's actually expected, right? Mm-hmm. If you think about Agile, Agile philosophy, the Agile principles, the second Agile principle is to expect and welcome change. If you don't welcome change, if you don't embrace change, you're really not being Agile. And that means that if your contracts aren't built to rapidly pivot, that means you're faking it.
What would you say are the primary benefits of this approach as opposed to conventional contracting?
I think it boils down to you get high quality capability, high quality software out the door much more quickly, and it's the software that people want to use. It's effective software. You've reduced the mean time to mission effectiveness is what I call it, and that's what this is all about.
So basically, this overcomes the problem, or at least helps overcome the problem, of getting new, fast technology, dynamic technology, mm-hmm. quickly mm-hmm. into the hands of the customer.
Yep.
Well, earlier I said there is no one-size-fits-all. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to ask, in what types of acquisitions would this work best? And where might it not work quite as effectively?
I think it actually probably works effective for most. It's just you need to set your expectations a bit differently. So Red Hat, our Agile transformation work and modern application delivery capability is based around two things. One, products or software, OpenShift container platform, which is our app platform that really enforces or enables better adherence to Agile principles, methods, and practices, as well as allowing for a level of automation to switch yourself into a DevSecOps culture. Well, on the other side of that is our Open Innovation Labs and our traditional consulting business, which is, if I go back to working with Lockheed in the F-22 example, they use both, as most of these do. Well, I will say that modernizing delivery of software to a hardware-in-the-loop weapon system like the F-22 is much more difficult than modernizing a existing business system process or business application that may be a giant Excel spreadsheet with, megabytes of macros in it and putting a really nice UI in front of it. And we do both. We absolutely do both. But the latter is definitely the shorter pole in the tent. And for any of these transformations, you want to start with something that's kind of a layup, right? So coming full circle here, I'm very happy to have been working with the F-22 program as well as some other hardware-in-the-loop based systems, including like a real-time radar system and a few other things. But you know what? To get real good adoption, to get quick wins, I want to show the customer that if you just kind of let Red Hat help you and partner with us for 2 months, we can show you some awesome productive outcomes. And what that does is gain more adoption and ownership, get people excited to jump on and move and thaw that frozen middle to do the right thing.
What is the key to successfully implementing this outcome-based approach?
I don't know if there is any one key. It is certainly, I think, probably have an open mind and do the right thing, what works for you, right? Having that open mind to understand, yes, there is a better way, and to listen to industry to help you do it, and kind of not fighting back too hard, allow your bad habits to be broken, allow the old way to kind of take you out of your comfort zone. I think that's probably it, right? The tech part's easy. It's the people and process part that is, and that cultural transformation that's hard, and you don't need a lot of, I would say, naysayers in there who are going to be kind of, I'd say, a barrier to getting it done.
Okay, then. Well, that concludes our Signal Executive video. Chuck, thank you very much for your presentation, and thank all of you for watching. Have a good day.